Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones is the worst thing ever made by a human. Except for the bagpipes. Why is it so bad, you ask? Well, it'll take a little while to explain because basically the answer involves every single thing in the film, except for Natalie Portman's midriff.
Welcome to the Perfect Movie Podcast, the podcast that says, "Hey, buddy, want to buy some death sticks?" I'm Michael.
I'm Kalen.
And today, this is kind of like a reunion because we've kind of taken the summer off.
Yeah.
For the most part.
We had big plans for the summer, too.
Big plans for the summer, but then you moved, and then I think just things kind of got, not to put all the blame on you, but I'm going to put a little...
Put it on me.
A little
Lay
blame
it
on
on me.
And yeah, we just didn't really have the time to get back together. But now here we are.
And we said, fuck it, let's review a Star Wars movie.
And we're doing Star Wars Episode 2, which is our third Star Wars review.
It is. Our first review ever was Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, and then I think in December of maybe was it just last December of 25?
24?
Or 24. One of them we did Phantom Menace.
Yes.
Episode 1, and now we're on to Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Okay. And if you happen to be a first-time listener, I think this episode's going to be a little different because, Kalen, look at me. I'm balling up. These are our plans.
I see it.
I'm balling them up, and I'm throwing it away.
Okay. Good shot.
Okay.
Good shot.
Because I don't think we should follow our regular segments for a Star Wars movie.
True.
I think these are movies we know so intimately and have had. I mean, the Star Wars prequels are really just core to our childhood.
Absolutely.
And
so we can kind of just riff on this. You know what I mean?
And that's sort of been the theme of the few episodes we've had this summer is we're just dodging into nostalgic favorites. And there's nothing I think more nostalgic to either of us than a Star Wars prequel.
Yeah.
So it's very close to my heart, but Kalen, I want to know, I don't want to speak for you, but how do you feel about the Star Wars prequels?
So, Michael, much like George Lucas, I hate Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because it's like sand. It's coarse, and it's rough, and it gets everywhere.
Why'd you say that one like Obi-Wan? Obi-Wan doesn't say that line.
I don't know. Anakin talks like a fucking asshole.
Yeah. It's cold and it's up.
Are you aroused, Michael? Are you aroused by my romantic dialogue?
Call me Natalie Portman because I like a whiny boy.
Padme was aroused. Okay, so I always tell this story, but one day, I think it was the summer of 2002 or whenever the fuck this came out.
I'm going back.
Yes, go back. Smell the aromas of 2002.
It smells like soapy life water.
It smells like smoke from the World Trade Center.
Damn! Early 9/11 reference, 9/11 reference. Check mark. Let's go. We're back.
We're back and we're better, baby. Anyways, my dad throws down a newspaper and it says Spider-Man 2002 or Attack of the Clones. And he's like, pick one. So I was like, shit, Spider-Man.
Good call.
Yeah. And so I watched this Attack of the Clones much later on in my life. And I will say this is my least favorite of the Star Wars series.
Yeah.
I hate this movie.
Yeah, that was really
this
is really what like came back to me because I don't think I've watched this movie since I was a child. So like probably nearly 20 years. Definitely 15 probably since the last time I've sat down and just watched Episode 2 Attack of the Clones just front to back. And if there is not a more just like boring, incomprehensible piece of trash, like I've yet to see it.
No, for real.
Okay, like there's
actually
watching it with fresh eyes, it's like a miserable experience on so many levels, and you have so many questions of like how this happened.
And it's so lame.
It's so lame.
Everything is lame. The fucking Jedi are so their most powerful power is walking around and sitting.
Yeah.
That's all they do until the end, and when they actually get into some action, it's still lame as shit. I hate it.
Yeah, so it's like where to start, because there's so much to say. I think we need to set the framework of, like, how did these movies get made? Because Phantom Menace, which we did review about a year or two ago, and returning to it was kind of painful, but it's the least digital of the three prequels.
Yeah.
We're not fully bathed in just every character exists inside like a Windows wallpaper in this movie.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
All these digital backgrounds have aged so poorly and look so shitty and stock, and like characters are just cut and pasted in and out, and like everyone's so lifeless because of it.
And I think the worst example of this is like the Camino planet. Everything is too clean, and I guess because it's like a cloning facility, it's supposed to be kind of sterile.
It's like clinical and stark.
But it's just like that is the groundwork for the rest of the film. You know, of just how it looks. It's too clean. And that's what I hate the most about the prequels.
Yeah, I mean, George was doing his thing. He was trying to be
trying to be revolutionary.
Trying to be a pioneer. And I see the vision in a sense, but like to this day, we don't really make movies like that. Like Marvel movies do a lot of that same stuff with better technology, and some of the bigger blockbusters do, but they usually still have like more on set. Maybe
what you would see this kind of like filmmaking in is like TV shows.
Not like
even the bigger TV shows, maybe with like they actually have somewhat of a budget.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you might see more sets and stuff, but some of the I'm trying to think of maybe like Smallville or something. You know, something kind of shitty. They're going to use a lot of terrible CGI effects or something.
Yeah, and you see this happen a few years later with Sin City, which is a movie that also filmed with like basically no sets.
Which looks terrible too.
That movie's so stylized.
It is.
And so particular that it works in its favor. There's just so many like shots if you watch the behind the scenes, and it's like Ewan McGregor in just a sea of blue, you know? And there's just like nothing around him. He's filming his scenes where he visits the tall aliens, and it's just like him and a man with a stick.
Right, right. And you really feel for the actors too, because it's kind of like, put yourself in that space, you know what I mean? Where it's like you're an actor, you're used to like, you know, you have to feel your surroundings in order to portray your character and stuff. And I just really feel for them, because I'm like, I don't know how they did it.
And
you know,
they're breaking new ground too, because there's not been a lot of acting with so many digital characters so present.
Yeah.
Like Gollum's around this time, and he's definitely like the best version of,
for sure,
like having a lifelike digital character. And this is all groundbreaking, but the net result is everything's filmed inside an air-conditioned studio. And when there is a set, you know, it's got like, they're usually pretty small. There's like a small hallway. There's an office set for like Senator Palpatine's office.
Right.
And like, you know, the Jedi Chambers, which is like a little circular set that it has like blue screens for all the windows.
Yeah.
There's stuff like that, but just, everything's so empty. And then everyone that is acting in this movie, like we have Samuel L. Jackson, which as a kid, I didn't have as much of a reference of like Samuel L. Jackson's career and what kind of actor Samuel L. Jackson is. But of all the like pantheon of great American actors, there are very few that have the pure like charm and charisma
and the gravitas of Samuel
of a Samuel L. Jackson. But you watch his performance in this movie, and he's just a line saying robot.
Yeah, and think Christopher Lee. You have a like legend in the acting world. And he's great on stage.
Great theater actor. Real murderer.
And you do nothing with him. And he's arguably probably the most interesting character you have, because he's like the gray Jedi. You know what I mean? Where he's not technically a Sith, but he's like walking that line. You know, it's underutilized is an understatement. Ewan McGregor.
I mean, there's
another great actor.
Yeah, there's a lot of great actors that are.
Hayden Christensen?
No, he's not one of those. I wasn't going to put him in the list. I was going to add Natalie Portman to the list. She's also a pretty great actor.
Yeah.
She's in good stuff.
She's in good stuff now, yes.
Yes. Also, she's so wooden. Like, the voice she's doing...
Oh, Annie.
It's so funny. But, so it all coalesces into this thing that's pretty soulless feeling as you're watching it. Not a lot of energy because people are walking down these tiny blue sets. So there's lots of like slow walking and talking. Lots of sitting and talking is a lot of the first half of this movie. And you add on top of it a script that just has like Phantom Menace, like feels like a story.
Yeah.
That like had a beginning and end in mind when George Lucas sat down to write it. But this one really feels like he had a couple bullet points and he was freestyling in between.
Which is unfortunate because it's probably arguably the most interesting aspect of the prequels is like the Clone Wars and the whole like the politics involved with that and how it's like a precursor to the Empire. Mm-hmm. You know, you could do so much interesting stuff, actually make the clone troopers characters. Luckily, they did that in the actual Clone Wars TV series. Like, that's the whole thing is, like, Anakin has this tight relationship with clone troopers and stuff. And so you see a lot of, different characters, even though they're the same guy, essentially. But there's all these different... They all have different personality and stuff. And that works.
Yeah, and when you talk about this movie theoretically, and this is true for almost, I'd say, any of the prequels, there's, like, a lot of meat on the bone for making a good movie.
For sure.
You have the dramatic stakes of a tragic anti-hero falling, character like Anakin Skywalker, who we've seen in modern time portrayed a very similar story that George may have ripped off.
Paul Atreides
in Dune. And the Dune series thus far has taken 2 movies to basically complete the arc that Anakin completes in this one movie.
Yeah.
And he has similar stuff. There's a prophecy about him where he's all powerful, and that's kind of gone to his head.
Yeah.
And like how that can affect and weigh on a person, especially someone that's like young.
Yeah. And you're kind of bright-eyed, bushy-tailed at first, but you have some confliction inside of you. Something's off, And
all that
getting
stuff
visions and shit
is here in the movie in the sense that there are lines that pay lip service to those things like happening. But
sure.
All that kind of happens off screen. We have little boy Anakin in episode 1. And by the first time we meet him in episode 2, he's like already a weird brat that like when the council wants to go send him on a mission, Obi-Wan's like, no, all his power's gone to his head. And he's just like not really capable of making decisions.
He's not taking hormones well.
Which is funny for the council, Yoda, our most wisest Jedi, apparently, to be like, yeah, I know you're the guy that spent every day of the last decade with them, but why don't you just ease it?
He's like, listen, bitch, I'm Yoda.
We're the council. We make decisions, okay? He's a special boy. We're going to go let him be special.
Yoda's an asshole. Let's just be straight up. He's not a great...
and he's dumb.
Yeah, which sucks because, number one, he's a totally different character than what he was in Empire.
I am concerned for my Padawan. He is not ready to be given this assignment on his own yet.
The Council is confident in its decision, Obi-Wan.
The boy has exceptional skills.
But he still has much to learn, Master. His abilities have made him, well, arrogant.
Yes. A flaw more and more common among Jedi. Too sure of themselves they are. Even the older, more experienced ones.
Remember, Obi-Wan, if the prophecy is true, your apprentice is the only one who can bring the Force back into balance.
And, let's not get into that quite yet.
I mean, a lot of this movie is dedicated to the Jedi sitting around and pondering, like, there seems to be a secret evil around us.
I sense something all the time.
And you're watching it, and you're like, well, you do have the benefit of the hindsight of the previous Star Wars movies, and you know that Senator Palpatine is going to turn into the Emperor. I think just by the way he speaks, acts, walks, and talks, you can be like, in this movie alone, you can be like, this guy...
It's kind of shady.
Something's up with him.
Why does he keep whispering things to other people when I'm not looking? Why does he keep talking to Anakin?
He's kind of lusting for power. He's kind of diving headfirst into this war. Whatever.
The original MAGA.
I mean, he's like, they can't see their thumb in front of their faces, these Jedi. And again, that's something that theoretically could be a plot point.
Yes, maybe that the Jedi are kind of incompetent to begin with. And maybe they're not as good as they portray themselves to be. Maybe they have ulterior motives to push a prophecy.
These are all ideas. That idea is explored in the Disney Plus series Star Wars The Acolyte.
It is. And people shitted on it because they saw a woman.
And I think that like idea and all these themes that we've talked about is like, this is work that people have done after the prequels to kind of reclaim the prequels.
Yeah.
As maybe there's actually something redeemable about these. And having just rewatched Attack of the Clones, there fucking isn't.
No, and you know, have you watched the last Mr. Plinkett Star Wars, the newest one? So I watched that, and he actually brought up this kind of thing that I've noticed as well, is like this resurgence of popularity with the prequels, just because all the newer Star Wars shit besides like Andor and Mandalorian is pretty shit for the most part. And so people are like, well, just because this stuff is bad, that means the prequels must be good now. No, they're not fucking good. They've never been good. They have stuff that's interesting in them, and actually, I love the designs of a lot of like the ships, and there's a lot of interesting design elements to the prequel films that have really stuck with me. You know, as like in my memory, is like as far as when I think of Star Wars, I think of that thing.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, and in this modern day, it is nice to look back at a movie that could be so terrible because one man had so many bad ideas, but he was the only man that made decisions. You know, the buck stopped with George Lucas. Nobody could really tell him how to make this movie. He's $1 billion George. He already made one of the most successful series of all time. Nobody's going to tell George how to write his new movies. And that's refreshing. Like, that's where some of the what people are picking at is there, and that the fact it was something so different, but it is so bad. And like, it's great that only a couple guys in history like really get to like carve out, like Zack Snyder tried to be that guy with Rebel Moon. Didn't work. But like right now the guy that's carrying the torch for like auteur blockbuster makers, probably James Cameron with his Avatar movies.
Sure. You could even say Denis Villeneuve with Dune.
But my point is that it's original.
Oh, original works. Okay. Yeah.
So that they're making their own thing, and it's all just spawned from their head.
That's he's pretty much the only one.
It's pretty much James Cameron. And, you know, that might go up shit's creek at some point either, because, you know.
But they look great.
They look great. They're fun. And overall, my point is, like, I get people pining for the day where maybe one person got to, like, make a decision about a Star Wars product. But they're not good, okay? It's a terrible watching experience. I hated every moment. I had questions every moment. Like, I can't find, like, any redeeming factors, really, in this movie. The action's not exciting. The dialogue is, like, poorly written.
Super underwhelming lightsaber fight. I don't know how you really fuck up a lightsaber fight, but they do it in this one. It's not fucked up, but it's like, it's just boring. It's
just lame. The Dooku fight at the end is
terrible. The Dooku fight, and they try to do some kind of artsy kind of thing, and it just falls flat on its face. They try to do like a mirror of like when Luke was fighting Vader, and you see like the light from the lightsabers hitting their face and stuff. Yeah. It's not good.
There's moments that rhyme.
Yeah, it's like poetry. Speaking of Dune, the scene with the worms, that the terrible bounty hunter that tries to kill Padme, and he carves she carves a hole in the glass and puts little worms in. That is a direct. If it's in the book, I'm going to say this is a direct ripoff of the hunter-seeker scene from Dune.
Really?
Do you remember that scene from Dune, Denis Villeneuve? And it was in Dune 1984 too. But the scene where Paul is like watching some like hologram thing, and there's like a little like bug drone thing that comes through the wall. It's literally I'm pretty sure he ripped that off. If it's definitely a rip-off. But anyways, that's what kind of pisses me off, because you take these cool elements of all this like this other cool sci-fi stuff and you make it shitty, and I don't like that. Stop doing that.
These are my kids. So
all those Star Wars films.
All the Star Wars films.
They were your kids.
Yeah, well, they are right. You know, I loved them. I created them. I'm very intimately involved in them, and obviously to
and
sell
you
them
sold
off,
them.
I sold them to the white slavers that take these things and. Okay,
but I mean, but.
And if you don't mind, so we can really just like pick at the bone of this movie, I've written some notes that are close to an outline of this movie. So can we just kind of run through the movie for a little bit?
Yeah, let's do it.
And cover some of the points. Because from literally minute 2, my first note is Star Wars title plus title crawl. Like, that bangs every time. Star Wars theme goes hard.
Yeah.
Every time. No notes on the first minute and a half.
Yeah.
Then we watch a ship go down to Coruscant, and it lands. And it's Naboo ship, and out comes, looks like our old friend Queen Amidala, or Senator Amidala, as she's known in this movie. And then the thing explodes. What a banger of an opening.
Yeah.
And I had questions from the very first time after that. Because, as we know from the Star Wars The Phantom Menace, that Padme Amidala, she has all these like handmaidens that surround her, and they all kind of look like her, and she travels in this face paint.
Decoys.
And they're decoys, stand-ins. And we discover very quickly that it wasn't the real one, it was the decoy that died.
Yeah.
And Natalie Portman runs up there and turns her over, and the decoy lady that's dying goes, "I'm sorry I failed you." Lady, that was your job.
Yeah, you did what you were supposed to do.
That's what you do.
If you were alive right now, you'd be getting a big check.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, she literally did what she's supposed to do. She's, the Secret Service diving in front of the bullet.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say, "I'm sorry I failed" right after that.
What were you supposed to do in that situation? Not die?
Yeah, like,
I'm sorry, I was your last decoy. There's nobody else that looks like you in the galaxy.
and Padme's like, no, you didn't. And the captain's like, yeah, it was her job. Like, within 3 lines, the script is already arguing with itself. And I'm like, what the... George!
I just picture that, like, George is writing that, and then whoever is next to him is like, "I don't know about that scene." And he's like, no.
I feel George had a deadline. And like, have you ever seen, like, the game jams where it's like, we're locked in 24 straight hours and we're going to produce an indie game at the end of 24 hours.
Yeah,
it was like that before a script. They just, like, locked George in a closet with a computer and, like, write the movie in the next 24 hours. So he just, like, kind of stream of consciousness powered his way through here. Because, like, wow. From the very start. After that, Obi-Wan and Anakin are assigned the role of security.
Yes.
For the senator, which is at the behest of Senator Papelbon.
Palpy.
Our friend Palpy, who knows that if he puts horned up Annie around Natalie Portman's, he's gonna.
I don't like sand.
It'd be funny if he saw her and, like, his little rat tail, like, started to float behind him. Like, it started going up. You've grown much more beautiful. I mean, for a senator, I mean.
Also, like, Padme, how old, like, much older is she than Anakin?
So I think
kind of weird. You knew him when he was a child. You groom her.
She's like 14 in the first one, and he's like 6. So it's like a 28 and 19 kind of scenario, which is, if the genders were flipped, like, I would look down at a man nearly my age dating a 19-year-old.
Yes.
I would say no good.
No good. No bueno.
They would have to be really mature, which our friend Anakin Skywalker is not.
All of this would be fine if the romantic dialogue and the romantic, like, chemistry worked.
There was no chance at chemistry,
no,
given the dialogue.
No.
Their version of chemistry is just like putting Natalie Portman in the sexiest clothing they can find at any given moment.
Yeah, and just kind of have her grooming Anakin, and then, like, she's like, "Our love is forbidden. I'm a senator, and
she's
I have
like
to
forbidden
do
love."
things.
And then she's wearing this, like, flowing gown with no back, sitting in sunset, sitting shoreline by the sunset, and we're supposed to be like, I mean, I'd fold too,
I mean, Natalie Portman.
Annie? My goodness, you've grown.
So have you. Grown more beautiful, I mean. Well, for a senator, I mean.
Annie, you'll always be that little boy I knew on Tatooine.
Okay, so let's break down this assassination plot. So the first assassination bomb didn't work, okay? So in this film, Senator Palpatine, future emperor, hires Count Dooku. Count Dooku needs to kill Natalie Portman because she's going to vote on something. It kind of gets discarded,
So
but
he
there's some
hires
vote.
Jango Fett.
So he hires Jango Fett, who I guess he's like, I already know him. We're making clones of him. I know where to find him. He's my A1 bounty hunter. Jango Fett hires the changeling Zam Wessel, who's a changeling lady that has a ship. And it's funny because he doesn't really need to do that because he's already on the planet of Coruscant, literally 2 miles from where Padme's laying. But he hands her this little jar of centipedes and says, "Finish the job."
Shouldn't I just shoot her?
There'll be no second chances.
No, use these worms.
Boss. And so Zam Wesell hires the centipedes.
It's like Assassin Inception.
Yeah. It's a crazy game of telephone to fucking get one murder off, you know? You feel like Count Dooku could just like choke her with his mind from a ship outside or something.
I get it. I think Dooku wanted an alibi, you know what I'm saying? He wants
it's really
loose
just
ends, you know?
Subcontractors, you know?
Yeah.
Django is where the buck should have stopped.
Django's like, nah, I don't want to do this. Let me hire somebody else.
I got a son now. Can't keep my hands dirty. My Jango Fett's sounding a lot like my Jason Statham.
Yeah, like could you imagine Jason Statham as
take off Jango Fett's helmet and it's
Jason Statham?
It's me, Jeff Chelios. They'd have to recast the son.
Yeah, but anyways, botched assassination attempt.
Okay, and before this assassination attempt, Obi-Wan is chiding Anakin for acting horny, chiding him on being too rash. I don't really remember what he did that was rash, but he said, "You're being rash."
And then hating on him for jumping out of a car.
Anakin had the bold idea of like, why don't, instead of just being bodyguards, why don't we investigate who's trying to assassinate? Like, that seems like a good idea, because it doesn't seem like anyone's on that job.
Let's just kill all Anakin's dreams and hope he doesn't turn to the dark side.
Yeah, and he like beat him with a paper. He was like, "Shut up, stupid Anakin."
Master, please.
Why does your Anakin sound like a little Obi-Wan? Okay, but Obi-Wan's telling him he's acting too rash, but they both burst in, chop up the centipedes at the last section, and they see the droid. We forget, Zam Wesell hires a droid to drop off the tube. Okay. So
and then the droid hires worms.
And the droid just hovers outside the window while the worms do their thing.
Whoops.
And goes, uh-oh, that didn't work. And as it tries to fly away, Obi-Wan, who had just told another man he was acting too rash, dives headfirst out of the window to grab a hold of the droid. No plan. He's just going to hang on until it gets to, returns to its owner?
Yeah, that's not, Come on, Obi.
This is where we get our first exciting action scene. So Anakin says, Obi-Wan fall and die. I'm going to go get a ship and try to catch him. Good work, Anakin. Smart guy. So he grabs a speeder. It's an open top. We're flying through our futuristic Coruscant. Look, there's aliens everywhere. There's ships. Aren't you entertained? No. As a kid, though, I was.
It was kind of cool.
I will say the action... This scene in particular, I think, might have been an exciting action scene in 2002.
Sure.
Like, these graphics are shitty now, but I think that part could be exciting.
Yeah.
I can't say the same thing about some future action scenes, but this one, I think, it just aged poorly because of the tech.
Yeah.
There's some fun things that could be in there.
What the part about the scene I hated the most is when Anakin and Obi-Wan are both in the thing that they're driving, and Anakin is like, I'm going to jump out and jump on whatever. Mm-hmm. And then Obi-Wan is like, I hate it when he does that.
Because this is a thing they do a lot.
Because they have such a great relationship, and they've done all these crazy adventures.
This is another mistake that this movie makes, is it instead of showing us any of the adventures, any of the bonding, any of the things that brought us to this moment that's so pivotal.
Yeah.
In the journey of Anakin Skywalker, the like central character of this 6-movie saga. They just like stand in an elevator and be like, "Remember that one time?" Remember that one time?
Or he just like gets chastised.
And he says things like, "I hate it when he does that," or he's like, "I forgot you didn't like flying."
The only reason they're doing that is because there's that one like offshoot line with Obi-Wan where he's like, "And he was a great friend from New Hope."
They had to act friendly.
Yeah, they should have been they should have been more like peers though, and not like master and apprentice. It would have worked better for that relationship.
They do get back at that in episode 3, and they do have a little.
They
bit
do
more
the
of
same
that.
thing though.
The same thing. The relationship is stuck in stasis.
Yeah,
in the movies.
Yeah.
The only thing that changes is their hair. They exchange mullets.
You seem a little on edge.
Not at all.
I haven't felt you this tense since we fell into that nest of Gundarks.
You fell into that nightmare, Master, and I rescued you, remember?
But it just feels like some work could have been done. Like, we watched a film, Furiosa, which maybe does too much about the background of a character, but like we see that character go from our child actor that portrays it at the beginning of the movie to the adult actor by the midpoint. I don't know. There just seems, again, when we're talking about meat left on the bone, there's stuff there that could have been interesting. I can imagine it. There's books that I've read that actually have those adventures.
Yeah.
But It's not in the main movie.
Like, you need real character progression, especially for Anakin, the guy who's going to turn to the dark side and become the most iconic villain of all time.
Yeah, no, we leave him at the start of like his hero's arc. Like he's just a boy with a bright future, and then it's like,
boom, angst.
By minute 65, he's murdering people and is basically like already fully turned.
Yeah,
like he doesn't fully turn to the dark side until the next movie, but that's the point of no return.
I mean, you committed like what is it? Like a kind of a small genocide already.
Yeah,
you know, a ethnic cleansing, if you will.
Murdered a whole village,
and the women,
and the children too.
The children too. I hate them.
What's wrong, Annie?
I killed them. I killed them all. They're dead. Every single one of them. And not just the men, but the women. And the children, too. They're like animals, and I slaughtered them like animals. I hate them.
Hey, remember Cantinas?
I do remember Cantinas.
You know, things we know. Do you know the thing that rhymes? The thing that they brought back that I didn't even realize was a callback.
That
I
rhymes?
think when I watched it
Poetry?
from this scene, from this bar scene.
No.
Obi-Wan always be going to bars and cutting people's hands
Oh,
off.
yes, I forgot about that. That happened in The New Hope.
Remember that happened in the first Star Wars movie.
But you know what didn't happen in the first Star Wars movie? Star Wars football playing in the background.
Look, people love gambling. If anything, we know in Star Wars people love gambling.
Yeah.
That's like one of the only activities.
There's a whole gambling planet.
No, literally, think about it. Between that and pod racing and like Donald Glover playing Sabak in Solo.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
well, it's all about making
it's
them
like
credits.
the only
big dog.
leisure activity we really see anyone do.
Yeah.
You're either gambling or you're sitting on a couch talking to your coworkers.
Well, that's the capitalism of Star Wars that really you don't go into until like Andor, you know.
After this assassination attempt, it is determined that Horndog Anakin has got to escort the princess off planet
to the most romantic place on Earth.
To places with rolling fields to roll through.
Not on Earth, in the galaxy.
In the galaxy. On Naboo.
On Naboo, the
sort
home
of Star
planet.
Wars is Orth.
Huh?
Sort of Star Wars is Earth.
Earth. Yeah, well, no, that would be Alderaan.
But we never go there.
Yeah, we never go
Oh,
there,
yeah, we
but
do.
it's alluded
And
to.
I forgot about the Obi-Wan television series. Where that one guy
Who could
chases that
forget?
little girl.
Who could forget about the Obi-Wan
Remember little girl
television
Princess
series?
Leia?
You remember how wacky it was?
It was so fun back then. Their old adventures.
Speaking of the prequels, I mean, that was the most prequel-like TV show. It was so terrible. And it kind of fits right in.
Well, I mean, The Mandalorian had, was it Jack Black and Lizzo as like senators or royals of a planet?
Could you imagine Jack Black as like a stormtrooper and he's wearing the armor? It's just like super overweight stormtrooper.
It's true. You never see a big stormtrooper.
No, you don't. They're always fit.
I mean, I guess military. So before they leave, as they're packing up, Anakin shows up to just like mope and whine about Obi-Wan to Padme. And this is the scene that made me think of the fun fact I learned from a Ewan McGregor interview. So I guess I think the generators that were used to do their digital photography had such a loud hum that every single line in this movie has been ADR'd after the fact, and none of it is the original set audio.
Wow.
And you can really feel it, and I feel like in Padme's delivery, where she feels like a little voice that doesn't even exist in there.
Yeah.
She sounds like fucking Tinkerbell half the time.
That's incredible. That actually explains so much. But maybe it doesn't.
But man, does Anakin show up to the apartment beforehand to just whine? He's so whiny and so mopey. Like, I guess what brings them together is her love of toxic men. It's like the only explanation.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Now that the Council has ordered an investigation, it won't take Master Obi-Wan long to find this bounty hunter.
I haven't worked for a year to defeat the Military Creation Act, to not be here when its fate is decided.
Sometimes we must let go of our pride and do what is requested of us.
Anakin, you've grown up.
Master Obi-Wan manages not to see it.
No, but Anakin is he's like an incel.
He's so, yeah.
Everything sucks. It's so unfair. I don't ever get my way. But it's like, this guy is supposed to be Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
And, Darth Vader, his whole thing is like, yeah, I'm calm, cool, collected. And I got some witty kind of lines. You don't see any of that in Anakin. And I feel like the more he turns to the dark side, the more like that he should get. The more like, I just hold everything in kind of thing.
Slight disagree, because kind of the most famous thing about him in... Maybe not the most famous thing, but Darth Vader loves killing his guys for letting him down. He's a big,
Oh, yeah.
He's on a spree in Empire Strikes Back, just force choking dudes.
Choking people.
All around. So he is the type to fly off the handle, but there's a sinister rage and an air that he carries with him.
Yeah, it's not like I'm tossing tables and shit. No, I'm going to choke you.
Yeah, that is not available in Hayden Christensen.
No.
At all.
Maybe somewhat in Revenge of the Sith, like towards the end. You get a little bit of that. With when he kills all of the separatist leaders and stuff.
Yeah, but he can't convey it in a line.
No, but he's great at emoting, though. He's got a great face for it, you know? And that's the one positive aspect of Hayden Christensen, I will say.
In some ways. A lot of ways. I'm really ahead of him. I'm ready for the trials. But he feels that I'm too unpredictable. He won't let me move on.
That must be frustrating.
It's worse. He's overly critical. He never listens. He doesn't understand. It's not fair.
And that's where we get into our investigation portion of the movie, where Obi-Wan is just the worst detective ever. So there's a scene. They try to interview the killer at the bar. She gets darted in the neck by Jango Fett, who flies away. And he brings the dart to his four-armed friend, Dexter Jetster. Maybe the only character whose presence I enjoyed the entire film.
He's cool. CGI is terrible, but he's a cool guy.
He's a fun guy. He's a worldly fellow.
He's really dirty.
And he recognizes, he's back there with the friars, His oil splashing everywhere in his 50s diner with his robot that speaks like a 50s waitress. Hey, honey, why don't I take your order?
It's like, is this Fallout or Star Wars?
But Dexter says, hey, there's this planet. It's called Camino. So Obi-Wan's like, all right,
about that?
I'm going to look up in the library. And the librarian says, oh, isn't there. But he's like, it looks like it's there because if I look at this map, it's behaving gravitationally like there's a planet there, but there's no planet there in the archives. And she's like, well, if it's not there, it isn't there. We're perfect. We're Jedi. We never do anything wrong. And then he brings this conundrum in front of Yoda, and he's like, and Yoda's around a bunch of little kids with weird hats on. And he asks the same conundrum. What? It's acting like there's a planet in this blank spot in the map. Everything around it's behaving gravitationally like there's a planet there. But look, there's no planet. And some fucking baby has to lift up his little lid on his hat and go, I think maybe someone deleted the planet from the archives. Like a literal fucking 5-year-old has to introduce Obi-Wan to the concept of things being deleted.
That kid is a chosen one.
Gravity's silhouette remains, but the star and all the planets disappeared, they have. How can this be? A thought? Anyone?
Master? Because someone erased it from the archive memory.
Truly wonderful the mind of a child is. The Padawan is right.
Okay, and one of the overarching themes people that try to reclaim the prequels say that like the Jedis are supposed to be stupid. No, that's just bad screenwriting.
Yeah.
It's not a mystery. I realize this is also supposed to be a movie for children, but even kids would be like, maybe they deleted it.
Thanks,
as
child.
evidenced by this child.
You should be on the council.
So Obi-Wan, he hightails it over to that place. He shows up to Camino, and some 14-foot tall lady says, "Hello, welcome back, Jedi. Are you here to inspect your army?" And he's like,
"Army?
Army? We don't know nothing about no army." Turns out there's a clone army because this movie's titled The Clone Wars, and Obi-Wan in one line of the original movie said, "Back in the Clone Wars."
Did you fight in the Clone Wars?
So now we have a movie called The Clone Wars, and there's clones. And the clones are made of Jango Fett, who is the guy that flew away in his jetpack. He hired the changeling lady.
After he shot her in the neck with
he
the
darted
dart.
her in her neck. And guess what? This guy, he's got a little boy. And his boy's name's Boba. Do you recognize it?
Boba T?
Boba T Fett.
Boba T Fett. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the guy from episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back.
He got swallowed by the Sarlacc monster, but then it spit him up.
But then there's a whole TV show about 20 years later that comes out called Boba Fett. The Book of Boba Fett.
It's got Luke Skywalker with an AI face.
And what's that fucker's name? Baby Yoda?
Baby Ragu?
Baby Ragu. Star Wars is just fucking terrible. Let's all just agree on that right now before we go any further. It's all bad. It's all bad.
It's all bad. And then we get maybe our second good action scene, which is Jango trying to flee. Obi-Wan chases him out into space. Their fight in the rain, kind of shit, but their fight in space
was cool with the cool sound effect from the plasma grenade thing.
Yeah, we'll play
the plasma bomb.
We'll play a great sound effect right here.
Boom!
Wow, that was powerful.
Thanks.
That was a good one.
They have that sound in Battlefront 2, the new one. You have like a little grenade that does the same thing.
Whoa.
It's pretty sick.
So then Mr. Obi-Wan, he put a tracker on Mr. Fett's ship, so he follows him to a planet that's red. And on this red planet, they got little bug people that fly. And they got a Count Dooku. And Count Dooku, he's head of the Separatists. He's head of the people that are trying to separate from the Republic. I think that's what Natalie Portman's voting on before, back in the, we know these guys. They're fake Japanese, some of them, and we saw them in the first movie, okay?
Yeah, they were there.
And they're back, and they got another guy that goes, blah, 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 blah. You remember that guy?
So racist. All of it.
And there's a guy with a big forehead.
And then the Geonosians are like, I don't know what they're supposed to be. They're just terrible, though. They all look so fugly. And the CGI is terrible.
Meanwhile, on Naboo, Anakin has a bad dream. Therefore, the plot must move forward. And his bad dream was about his mommy. And that his mommy was dying.
How did she get kidnapped by the Tusken Raiders again?
They just do that.
Doesn't he go to Lars?
Yeah, it goes to Lars.
Yeah. And they don't really like him or something? Isn't it like, I don't know, Lars is kind of an asshole, right?
Lars is okay. First he sees Watto. He says,
oh yeah.
You go, Nanny.
Yeah. I would have killed him if I was Anakin, right? Because that was like my slave master.
Yeah, that kind of feels like something he could have done.
But you're going to take it out on the natives.
Yeah.
Just like a white man.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
Well,
so yeah, you get that whole scene of Anakin going to the Tusken Raider village.
Yeah, and he goes and he sees the sand people. Not allowed to say that anymore, but fuck it.
What did you call not the Harkonnens, the Fremen? You called them?
Oh, the Iraqis.
The Iraqis,
because they're from Arrakis.
Yeah. Oh, that gave me a good chuckle last time.
Like Saddam.
Lisan al-Gaib.
Lisan al-Gaib. Padme tags along because he's on a mission to protect her, and she says, "Oh, I'll follow you to do whatever you dream about, baby." And then he finds Lars, and Lars is like, "Guess what? She just got kidnapped." Bad news.
And what are you doing about this exactly?
They went out, and remember, he's like, "Then they got my leg."
Oh, yeah. They got his leg.
And then he's like, he's in a wheelchair now, so he can't do anything. But it's a floating chair. There's no wheels. They don't have the wheel in Star Wars.
No.
Just kidding. There's stuff with wheels. But so he finds Mommy. But first they visit the set of Episode 4. Lars lives on the set of Episode 4. He lives on Anakin's Uncle Owen
Tatooine
farm. And Anakin finds his mother, and just, as any smart dramatic story does, as soon as the character that's in peril is visited by our hero, she dies.
And she literally does just that.
She's like, I have a few scratches on my face. Now it's time to die.
Mommy.
Anakin and Hayden Christensen tries his darndest to look really mean. But he cries a little, and then he murders everyone in the village.
Not just everyone. The women.
The women.
And the children, too.
Which is what he tells Padme when he returns.
And I would have been like, ooh, a red flag.
Yeah. Seems like maybe this is, if none of the other dumb shit that he said to you, annoying shit to listen to. I don't want to hear anyone whine about your job. Man, shut up. You're supposed to be a chosen one. Just want you to take a seat. So after he whines to Padme and says, "Man, I've really done a lot of murdering. I'm so mad." They get a message from Obi-Wan who says, "Hey, I'm over here in Geonosis." And he gets kidnapped.
Padme's like, "Time to change my outfit."
Yeah. Padme says, "George doesn't let any princess be in his movie without wearing a white outfit with no bra."
Oh, yeah. But first it's going to be, it's not going to show my belly. But then later I'm going to get scratched, and I'm going to have to rip off that part so it can show my belly.
Midriff.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, at the same time, we can't forget about this. Our old friend Jar Jar Binks falls. Holy shit.
This is what Star Wars does to you, Michael.
Our good friend Jar Jar Binks falls prey to the just most obvious deception in the history of man, to just fold and end democracy.
Misa like fascism.
Literally, Senator Palpatine and his blue-horned friend are like, "Oh, if only someone would vote emergency powers for us to use this army. Oh, if only someone here would do that.
I'll do it." Sure.
Misa will do something stupid.
Never gave him power.
Oh, I forgot to mention that in Tatooine, C-3PO shows up again and immediately is incorporated back into the gang with no explanation.
Yeah.
It's just like, he's here now, and he's here to be comic relief for our final action scene.
Oh, no. Are they going to put his head on a droid?
No! And this is really where my notes fall off, because I really just lost all hope and interest.
Okay, so you get that terrible droid factory scene.
Yeah.
With Anakin almost getting smushed or something.
It's two actors running on blue screens and randomly ducking,
Looks so bad.
And then them editing around it. It looks really terrible.
But wait, you have to get through that scene because right after that you get the nice kiss, the nice smooch from our loving characters who have so much chemistry. It was a great smooch.
Mind you, this is about 20 film minutes since he just confessed to murdering an entire village of humans is the wrong word, but beings.
She said, "Put a baby in me."
And she was like, "Annie, that's so hot."
They're both just terrible people.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Anyways, Obi-Wan has already been captured, and he was getting tortured by Dooku.
He had him in a little blue beam. I don't know if he was tortured or just kind of hanging
But I think
there
was an electrical thing. Cause
yeah.
He was like, fuck.
And then Count Dooku's like, "Hey, open position over here at Separatist headquarters. Would you like to be my pal-in-law?"
And then they had a gladiator game.
Yeah, there's some animals. There's like a cat-like thing. There's a thing that looks like a praying mantis.
Yeah.
With 6 legs.
There's like the rhinoceros.
And then there's
thing.
the rhinoceros running. Yeah, we have just a classic Coliseum scene.
Yeah, with a bunch of like brown bugs and.
You know, I feel like Ridley Scott saw Star Wars Episode 2 and was like, Gladiator 2?
And then George Lucas was like, "Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?"
And then the Clone Wars starts because all the Jedi show up and they're all comped in the shot individually, as you see just like random extras like flail wildly.
What's funny is like they're coming out of the stands, like they're like taking their hoods off and like, "Haha, it's me!" But it's like there's just a sea of brown bugs
that with wings.
How
that fly.
how are you blending into this crowd right now? And then cool. He's got the purple lightsaber. Everybody knows the story about how Mace Windu's purple lightsaber came to be. And then he cuts off the head of Jango Fett. And then that's like you see Boba Fett run over and grab his daddy's head and kind of look at it. And then you're like, oh, he's going to turn and he's going to take his father's mantle.
He wants to be just like Daddy. Dead.
Because that ended so well for him. And then you get the start of the actual Clone Wars. That's when the clones come in on their little Blackhawks or whatever those things are. You know what I'm talking about.
They're little speeders.
Or whatever planes those are. Those are kind of cool design. I like the drop ships or whatever.
I like that they go.
Yeah, those are pretty sick, and they got those beams. I remember playing Battlefront 2 back in the day. You used to be able to use one of those beams and shoot them, and that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then they're chasing. Well, no, first you get the big battle in the desert between the droid army and the clones, and then they're chasing Dooku across the dunes, and they go into this hangar, and then you have your big lightsaber battle.
But first, Natalie Portman falls.
Oh yeah, she does. And Anakin just doesn't. Wait, no, Anakin wants to go back.
Yeah, he says we got to turn back, and Obi-Wan's like the mission.
He's like, it's too late for her. Something.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan is just kind of awful. I think they're all just kind of terrible. And it's like you look at that and you're like, okay, no wonder this guy went off the deep end. I mean, he had no positive male role models whatsoever. Yeah, but then you get the terrible Dooku fight. And Yoda should not have a lightsaber.
Yeah, he really shouldn't be doing fighting.
No.
And it's really terrible when he shows up and bounces around everywhere for a few minutes. It just looks silly.
And then he goes, "Arr!" when he's like making some kind of sound, some kind of noise. Like,
and it's all so Anakin and Obi-Wan get dispatched rather quickly. And they're both like laying unconscious when Yoda shows up. And then they just kind of do the show because like 2.5 minutes into the duel, Count Dooku's like, yeah, and I'm out. And then like tries to crash a pillar using the Force onto the two guys that are on the ground, and Yoda drops it as Count Dooku just kind of walks away into his ship, so he can save them from getting crushed by a pillar. Feels like all the fighting was kind of for no reason if you had the whole pillar plan.
He does the pillar thing quite a bit. I think he does the pillar thing in Revenge of the Sith too.
Yeah, it's like poetry. It rhymes. They crash a little gangplank on Obi-Wan in Episode 3.
And also, like, the whole thing with, like, in Episode 3, when they're meeting with the Chancellor to try to save him, and they're like, oh, Chancellor Palpatine, Sith Lords are our speciality. No, they're not.
No.
You guys get fucked up every time.
Yeah, you got wrecked.
You just barely beat Darth Maul.
Right.
You know?
And Qui-Gon got killed.
And he's a master.
You know, your survival rate is 50%, like 25%, 75%. But also, sometimes you're missing a limb. Like, you guys have not been coming unscathed from any of these battles.
But you know what? That alludes to all the battles that they've had off screen.
Oh! Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're not in this movie.
One thing I did like, though, was at the end where, you know, Yoda's whole thing is, like, begun the Clone Wars have or whatever. You get that cool kind of, like, scene where you see the clones kind of marching and stuff, and it's like, That's pretty cool because it's like, damn, this is like, this is what the Empire.
Does it turn into the Imperial theme, or is that a different theme?
I think it's the Republic theme or whatever. Oh. But it sounds reminiscent to the Empire theme.
I mean, our friend John Williams, bangers.
Yeah, the Duel of Fates, which I don't think they do. in this film?
Do they do it
Duel of
during?
Fates?
Do they do it during the Count Dooku fight?
I don't know. This movie is just not memorable.
No,
Out
as
of
you
all
can
the
tell,
prequels.
I've lost a lot of gas as we get towards the back end of this movie because
Yeah.
it's just it really goes out like a wet fart, and I don't like really any of the viewing experience. It's quite terrible, and it's like I can't imagine showing this to someone unfamiliar and then walking away with any other reaction than like, what was that?
Yeah, yeah. At this point, that would be kind of hard to do because I feel like everybody's seen or at least heard or knows the
You've
story
been
of
around
Star
it.
Wars. Yeah, yeah. But I will say that Revenge of the Sith is much better. Not much, but it's better. It's probably my favorite of the prequels. We'll probably get to that sometime. But Attack of the Clones, it just sucks, dude. It's really not much more to say about it.
It's a less than product in every way. It just is really bad.
It's so soulless. I think that's the biggest thing for me, where it's just like there's just no like heart. There's no like you think about the original trilogy and you had these core characters that you all loved, you know, but then it's like, okay, now we have Obi-Wan, Anakin, Padme. These are characters that were supposed to be like, this is our big three right here. You know what I mean? But you're missing all of that charisma, you know, that like the back and forth between characters. You're missing all of that. And it's so bizarre because George Lucas made this shit. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't know how you could fumble the bag that fucking hard.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it's supposed to be like an Obi-Wan Anakin two-hander of a film, but it doesn't really further those characters in any way.
Right. This is supposed to be our Empire Strikes Back.
Other than when Anakin's mother dies and he kills someone, he kills a bunch of people, but like that's also just kind of out of nowhere and unearned. Like he's literally like, I had a bad dream. Now I guess my mom's gonna die.
Yeah.
When you haven't really, prior to that very moment, he hadn't really talked about his mother, like in the span of this film. And yeah, you can think like, yeah, it's been 12 years since he's seen his mother, but like we don't see any evidence that this is a thing that weighs heavily on him.
Yeah.
Until that moment where it's like, now I gotta go have my serious character turn.
How do you make these movies better? That's the question that I know a lot of people have probably asked. How do you make the character of Anakin Skywalker more digestible, more believable as this conflicted character that transitions into this monster, you know? And I feel like they missed the mark with the whole we got to start him young thing. I think the thing with Anakin and what made him special was like he's got these powers for no fucking reason, and we got to figure that out. This should have been the Phantom Menace. And so you can have a movie where it's like, okay, now it's Master and Apprentice and they can do stuff. And then you lead into the third film where it's like, okay, now this is the dark turn. This is when everything kind of changes and for Anakin's character. And so you can really get some character progression. Because if you go from child, like fucking 4-year-old, to a 16-year-old adolescent, you know what I mean? You're missing so much of that character, you know, that character growth. And so Anakin's basically the same character that he is in the next movie.
Yeah, it feels like episode 1 really could have been like a prologue or something, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And condense it down to like get more character moments and more of these turns. Because like as a counterpoint, what the Dune movies do a lot is you're like with Paul
the whole time.
Yeah. And he goes from being someone that kind of has their arrow pointed true north as far as like what their morals and ethics were from the very start to someone that is a little warped and has kind of bought into his own hype and is like making conscious decisions. And we see that transition.
And the interesting thing about Paul too is that he knew about his destiny before. Like he had the visions. He knows what going down this certain path will lead him to. Mm-hmm. But he does it anyways because, you know, he thinks that's the right thing to do. You know what I mean? That's confliction, you know. It's interesting.
Instead of taking a kid that's a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed little hero from our previous movie and inserting him as this like mopey, arrogant version of himself
that massacres an entire village of people for probably no reason.
Halfway through your movie, and you're like, well, like where was that arc for us to see?
Yeah.
him go sour.
So luckily, if you really want to dig into Star Wars, you have ways to kind of get that. You have the Clone Wars series, which does a great job of showing the turn of Anakin Skywalker, where it shows like how jaded he becomes towards the end and how much disdain and distrust he has towards the Jedi. And you see like little glimmers of like, or glimpses of him, just like his rage and like, which is in him, and it's really reminiscent of what Darth Vader becomes too. So I feel like if you really want to dive in and get that, there are ways to get that. But unfortunately, the prequels is not it. And like we were saying earlier, just because the newer Star Wars is terrible does not mean that the prequels is good. They're not good. They've never been good.
No, it just turns out it's a franchise with 2 or 3 good movies.
Yeah. But what I hate the most is how we're gassing up Hayden Christensen right now. Because he was in an episode of Ahsoka and he did like a better job than what he did before.
Yeah.
It still wasn't that great, but it's just like, come on, people are so stupid.
I wonder about him in his life because his career really crashed.
He didn't have a career.
Like, he didn't really have a career after this.
He was in that movie Jumper.
Yeah.
And that was like basically it.
People tried a little bit around the prequel times, but it burned out pretty fast.
Ewan McGregor too. I mean, what has he been in? I mean, like he's in a few things here and there, and he's a great actor, I think. You know,
he's a working actor, and I think he's married to what's her name? She is in Birds of Prey. She's the woman in 10 Cloverfield Lane. Forgetting the name of the actress, but he's married to her.
She was in Sky High.
Yeah, and so I think they're just pretty successful. Like, I feel like he just kind of shows up when he wants to.
Yeah.
Not that he's like out of work. You know, like people would put Ewan McGregor in a movie.
Christopher Lee hated this movie so much he died.
Yeah. He was like, I survived fucking World War II for this.
I knew J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yeah. I slashed Nazi throats in 1943.
Yeah. Wish we still had him today.
I wish I was Saruman right now.
That was pretty good. Saruman. The Hobbit, the Halflings.
I can't think of any more Saruman lines.
He said stuff. Okay. Anyways, yeah, the talking about this kind of drained me.
It's a bad movie. Don't recommend it. Ladies that are here, scoot in. This is one just for the ladies, guys. Earbuds out. Ladies, if your man sits you down and tries to make you watch a prequel, just leave. Like, walk out.
Red flag.
Walk out.
Flag on the play.
He's going to ruin many evenings with terrible media choices. You can do better.
Yeah.
All right. Boys, you're welcome back in. Thank you.
Wow, the prequels are awesome, guys. So I don't know.
Me, as a guy, I love R2-D2.
Beep
But
boop.
you know what else I like? Padme in that banging outfit at the end of episode 2. Know what I'm saying?
She got scratched.
Fill her port, man.
Natalie, I'm going to port. Man.
Put my USB in her port. There's something there.
I don't know. Star Wars just kind of depresses me. I hate it. And it was something that I loved.
A big part of loving Star Wars is hating Star Wars.
Which is crazy.
And I hate Star Wars, which is crazy. It's a great reaction. Okay.
No, I mean,
crazy, bro.
One more thing. I just saw this
No,
clip.
stop.
I saw this clip, and it was one of those giant, like, cult conventions or whatever they do.
Yes.
And they were all just, like, chanting, I am the Force, and the Force is with me. And they were, like, closing their eyes, and the lady, it looked like an evangelical church. And she was like, just say it with me. I am the Force, and the Force is with me. And all these people were, like, praying and saying it. And I was like, what is wrong with this picture here?
Is that what they chant in Ashoka?
No, that's not Andor. Rogue One. That is the only Asian character we ever have in Star Wars, other than those aliens.
I forgot what they chanted in Ashoka. There was a pretty terrible chant
In Ahsoka?
Yeah, remember when they're doing the thing and they're gonna combine the twins or whatever? Remember?
No, I don't remember this.
Waving around. That's before they pass out, and the Asian guy doesn't murder most of them, but murders a couple of them.
They might have said that. I don't know.
And there's a Chewbacca Jedi.
Oh God! I thought that was in. You're talking about not Ahsoka. You're talking about.
The Acolyte.
Yeah, I was gonna say Rebel Moon.
Oh, there's so many bad Star Wars things out there.
The one saving grace is Andor. which
That's
is
a
a
good
great
one.
fucking show.
It's a
and I
great
like
show.
it a lot. Okay, I'm done talking about Star Wars.
We're done with Star Wars. Put it in the bin. Star Wars Episode 2 is not a perfect movie. It's not even a good movie. It's not even worth your time.
No.
Okay, well, now that we've covered one Disney property, next episode we'll be doing another one. Because we'll be covering
The
Muppet
Muppets.
Treasure Island.
Oh, yeah.
The Techno-Union Army is at your disposal now.